right, good day everybody. That was the first customer out of here, 2007 Country Coach Magna. Fixed some air problems, did some electrical issues, and a few other miscellaneous items. But this is the new facilities. So yes, very exciting news. We did end up with a shop out here in Junction City, about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles at most outside of town. Hit me up on an email at brianmoto773 if you're interested in getting some work done on Gmail, or brianmoto773 on Instagram also. But I did do a video a couple days ago about doing entry door checks. So we're going to use this as the intro to it. We'll go into that video now with the entry door check, talk about replacing that and different things there. But I just want to thank everybody for this ride that we've been along. It's been a while. I know I haven't had a lot of content, but we have basically a new studio. So it's fresh paint on this bad boy. We got a little bit of roof cleaning and stuff. We're gonna get this parking area squared out, but we're gonna have some room for customers to come, get some excellent electrical services done. Anything with wires. We're gonna try not to play with water, but LED lighting, stereos, and so on and so forth. But hey, that's enough of this intro. Thanks for everybody. Let's watch this door check video. But today we're gonna rebuild a Country Coach entry door check. So that goes in the door. This is that rod that goes in between. Most people have probably seen one of these if they have a 2005 newer Country Coach or 2006 Intrigue. And we're going to actually change that out with this metal rod today. So we'll throw some time lapse in here of changing this out. We're going to take a 1/2 inch socket in this case on the concrete as a spacer. We're going to use this fine snap-on punch. Looks like 3/16. We're going to beat this through here. And then these door checks are drilled at a 1/4 inch. And we'll re-drill that out to it. And then we will install the new rod in there. We'll put a spring washer spacer in here. And that's going to make it so that way it doesn't pop up and down as you open and close the door. You will lose one of the stages once you go to this style. I do have a few of these left. Sometimes I build them up like we are going to do today, and I send them out. And then there's a core fee that would go with it. So I make sure I get this back, this piece back, and then this piece back. These are not available necessarily anymore. These are actually a General Motors part. This was made by Avionics, along with this, and this is who made the entry door. These are held on with a number 4 Phillips. Yep, a number 4. So a large number 4 there. And then I've got one that's a snap-on. It goes number 4 to 7/16. And then I use that to get it out of the door. And I think that's about all the heads-up information. We'll just shoot a closer here in a minute. But these are the items that we're going to be replacing. So let's get this started. We'll see if we can keep this video under 5 to 7 minutes. A little tech video, and we'll keep all the others coming. So there's some of that time lapse of getting the stock pin out. I did grind it a little bit with some 80 grit. So that way I had a good flat surface. I don't know if you can see it there. To be able to beat on it with the punch. And the hammer, now that I have this out, now I have this side, I'll get that rod installed in there with the spring washer, get this back in. Now if you already have this style entry door check, and you have a weld on this side right here, and a spring washer, which I'll show you in just a second, that means you have one of them that I built and sent out. So neat little story there, because I don't think anybody has used the spring washer also, which I will go, oh, it's right here in this neat little bag. So this here is not just your typical flat washer, and it is going to go in between here in the center section along with the rod and the pin back through. Then the tack weld to hold it, keep it good and stable. Next thing I'm going to do is drill that out to be the same size as the top hole in here, so let's get that started. All right, so 9:30 seconds is actually what it was. I think I said 7:30 seconds before. So 9:30 seconds drill bit. That's going to step this hole out right here into the next stage, so that way we can get the stock pin shoved back through this and not end up with any variables, like as if you drilled out the bottom of this, some people did in the past, and maybe currently still, to a 1/4 inch, and then put a nut and a bolt through here, and then you actually have to grind the entry door and all kinds of stuff. Whereas if you use this stock pin, put it all back together appropriately, it all works great. So let's get that hole through there, like I said. All right, I went to go put this in, and I forgot there is a step that I usually do. I use this flat bit to do a countersinking, and I actually use that to deburr this edge and then deburr this edge also, so they all slide in here, because that spring washer is kind of a bear to get in there because the tolerance gets closed up. So that's kind of that there. Let's keep this video rolling. All right, so we've got the rod through there. The key is to make it look OEM, this large portion needs to be on the top. This is the out radius right here, so that ends up in the door like this, of course, with this like this, and this hangs out of the door, so that way your appropriate side. Don't put this in so the C shape is the other way. It will damage the door. I have seen it done. So that would go like that. That goes there. A couple small tack welds right here to hold this in, or with driving it out the way I did, you could re-roll it over with the punch and you would be fine. But since I have a welder right here, I just throw a small tack weld on there. And then the other thing is, this here needs to go in the door like this, with this out, not in. So if you put this the other way, like this being incorrect, you will also damage the door that way. So the key is this out, then in here. Okay, so I'll show you a couple more here. We'll spend a couple minutes and do a quick closer after I get the tack weld on here, and I get the stopper off of this one put onto there after I get it all shoved in. So let me get this wrapped up. All right, so here's the quick 20-second closer. Got that spot weld down there on the very bottom. Now I didn't hook up my gas, so it's not the best weld, but it's just to hold it in so it doesn't walk out. So we're not doing a weld grades on this today. Got this in here. I couldn't find the nut that goes on here for this particular one, so I'll have him swap over the nut on this before he installs it. But that is the appropriate position that it goes in the door. If you do it wrong when you close the door, this will give you an outie on your aluminum door skin, and outies are very saddies. So that's your entry door check. As I said, number 4s are hold that in. Let me see if I can find that bit here on this messy bench. I got some stuff that I'm doing, but here is that snap-on number 4. And then, like I said, it's a Phillips here on the end. Here is the snap-on part number is an SDM, and it looks like a 8. Maybe, no, I'm going to say a B. So SDMB 524A. And that is what's the appropriate size to get these out that go through here that are number 4. Otherwise, you're going to fight getting those out, because if you use a short bit, of course, your socket's not going to want to fit in there, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the story on that. That ends up going in to get those out, and then you're good to go. So, all right, I think that's it for today. The entry door check, how to change one out, what's available, what's not. Drop me an email at brianmoto773 if you need one of these rods. I do have about 8 of them left. If you want to get a hold of me to have me just do the whole thing and build it up like this for you, I can do that also. Lots of different ways to do it. But hey, thanks again for watching. I hope you're all having a great day. Let's just continue to keep on rocking on out there RVing. Bye-bye. A quick note also, we'll put this in here in the middle, is brand new fasteners that hold this in to the door through here. Those are going to be a 1/4 20 thread. Always make sure you use a number 3 on these. There is a 3/8 hex above here and below here. Make sure those are snug. That holds the block that this is held to. Now, if you have an original 2005 Magna, you may find this goes all the way through to the firewall. I have seen the original production ones, probably Coach's 6400 and before, the few prototypes. I kind of figure those are. But this is another thing. These are 1-inchers. I think they're about a 1/4 inch longer than the previous ones. If you break them off, start with a reverse drill bit, and then hopefully you don't have to use the easy out and it'll back thread it out. But those are, I include those with the door check once I built it. So you got the rod, the 7mm spring washer that I get down at my local Connects. Shout out to my son at the Connects counter. And then I picked these brand new washers up at, bolts up at the local Jerry's. So that's the hibbity dibbity. Thanks again.